Good day, everybody. I'm here with Annie, my little 2-year-old BC Wildie, and she's going to be the example of a concept that I would like people to start recognizing for what it is, and that is the idea that we would snap down the lead rope and the halter to get a horse to do something. I don't really care what it is. A lot of people use it to get a horse to back up or to leave their space. Some people just do it out of sheer torture. There was a video a while back of Linda Pirelli, Pat Pirelli's ex-wife, I think now, literally abusing a horse for a good 5 minutes or so with this concept. Now, at best, this is just straight poor horsemanship. At worst, it is abuse. To go ahead and wrench down on the lead rope hard with the halter on the horse's face. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. The first, easiest, it hurts. It hurts a horse to do that. Now, on an ill-fitting halter like this one is right now, it's going to sit low, down on the nose where it's not strong. There's no real bone there. It's cartilage. You can actually break a horse's nose, and plenty of people do, when this sits too low. This halter should be sitting higher, but I'm not going to be doing anything with her, so I let it sit loose. But a lot of halters do sit this way, especially those leather ones or those nylon ones. A rope halter generally will fit a little bit better. The second part that it usually hits is the back of the head. I can't think of a single worse place to hit a horse to get them to do something than the back of the head. This is one place where I want to be able to touch. I want to be able to touch the ears. I want to be able to hold. I want to be able to come forward, everything. If you start causing pain back here, back up, Annie. Back up a little more. Good. You have to stick with me for this one. If you start causing pain on the back of the head, you're going to get a horse that's going to lift its head up. And if you watch anybody who does the snapping effect, where they snap down, this horse's head will go up. Why? Because usually on the bottom here is a big clasp, a big metal piece of junk that connects a lead rope to the halter. Anybody who uses one of those, you are doing your horse a disservice if you do anything other than just quietly lead them. But even then, when a horse shakes its head around, when there's a fly, or they have a shake from rolling or something like that, that clasp still comes round and hits them under here, under the jaw, under the chin, and it hurts. And every time this happens, it comes up and it smacks up either into their lip, their jaw, or their chin. So it's very, very, very unkind way to treat a horse. The second reason is when we do this, we're going like this and we want them to back up, but we're using a pulling effect. It's a pulling down or a pulling this way. And that causes the pain causes the horse to go up. You're asking them to go back, but you're wrenching on them to come forward. When I want my horse to come forward, I want to be able to just gently come like that, right? So we don't want to do an action or have an effect on a horse in a way that is the exact opposite of how we would be training them naturally. The third thing, and most important, and I really mean this is the absolute most important thing, is the psychological and physical detrimental effect that it has on a horse. Because this halter is our way of shaking hands with a horse. We're already cheating by having it. So if they will give us the honor of putting it on, and they will allow us to stand and have a rope wrapped around their head and their mouth, we must treat this as if it is the thing that defines our relationship. And it doesn't allow then at that point to use it for anything other than draw. We don't want to use this. Anyway, I get it. We don't want to use this end of the lead and this part of the whole halter on their face and head as a driver. It is incredibly detrimental. It is backwards thinking. It is an awful thing to do, and to the horse themselves can get very confused, both physically hurt and essentially mentally hurt, because they just don't understand. No horse is ever going to understand that this means anything other than ouch. So if we go with that kind of thinking, if we're using ouch to make something happen, we probably aren't using our best horsemanship that we can. Now I get it, there's going to be dangerous horses out there, but there are plenty of other tools that are far superior than using the halter that's on the horse's face that we want to have to be its friend. This halter is an extension of me. I don't want to cause the pain. By doing this, I'm causing the pain. By this being on its face, on the back of its head, under its jaw, under its chin, all cause pain. So we treat the halter like it's our handshake. When you want to give somebody trouble, you don't go up and squeeze them and give them a hard time. Your hands are used for gentle purposes. So next time you see somebody snapping on a horse's face, especially more than once, if you do it, I gotta say, anytime more than once, if it has to happen once, I mean, you get freaked out and you're like, hey, no. And you do that, look at her head go up just with that amount of action. One time. But she's already responded. And she's worried. Well, that's not worried now, but she got a little worried. We don't want to leave that worry in. And plenty of times, out of fear, out of sort of immaturity of the horse training process, we have that fear, we leave that fear with them through our overreaction to get them to step away. There are way better ways, way better tools, more distance that we can make to get something happen. And the horse will leave. Now Annie's a big sweetie, so obviously we're not going to see something dangerous here, but I can tell you out of my experience, 100% there has never been, for years and years now, that I have ever used this method to get a horse to back away. It's so detrimental, it's backwards, and it's wrong, and I think it's mean to horses. And if you see it happen, say something. It's important. It's important for the horse. And it's important for the horsemen or horsewomen who are using it that should be searching for a better way to deal with horses in their space. So, thank you, Annie, for being such a great example today for everybody to watch. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.